On June the 1st, 2018, I uploaded the first video to this channel. Now, when I watched that video back, the first thing I noticed is how bad the video quality is. I hope my YouTube videos have improved. The other thing is that the focal point for starting the channel and for focusing my mental and physical health improvements was all centered around the Bristol Triathlon. Now, obviously in 2018, when I made that video, none of us could have predicted what was going to happen in the intervening 4 years. It would be a bit freakish if you could have guessed, not just to the world with the pandemic and everything else and the kind of crazy disruption that we got, but also the kind of more personal things that have been going on in terms of, well, everything. Crikey, the last 2 years alone have been completely bonkers for us as a family. So Bristol Triathlon has always been at the centre point of this channel, and it's always been a focal point for me to try and be ready to race that. Now, it hasn't happened for so many years that I kind of lost sight of that being such an important factor for this channel, but it is. I love Bristol Triathlon, and at the time it was about trying to focus on the 2019 race, which didn't happen, and obviously with the pandemic and everything, it didn't come back until last year, late in last year in October, and I had an entry for it, but I didn't take myself to that race because I didn't feel ready for it. I'd done the Grand Tour, I'd ridden my 21 days alongside the Tour de France, and I hadn't really done much training since then. It didn't feel like I wanted to do it. However, this Sunday just gone, Tough Runner put on the Bristol Triathlon 2022, put on a sprint distance and Olympic distance race, and I went down to take part this year. So the first really cool thing about what happened this year is that Tough Runner asked me to present the beginners talk that happened on the Saturday during registration. Now, I was pretty nervous about doing it. I mean, I do a fair amount of kind of talking to groups of people with university and stuff like that, and I'm not accustomed to crowds with gigs and stuff, but this is a bit different, isn't it? You got people's races in your hands, haven't you? You're responsible for people making a wrong turn or not knowing what they're supposed to be doing. So I took it very seriously, but I really enjoyed it. I went down there Saturday afternoon. There are about 150 people. I didn't shoot any video because I'm a terrible YouTuber.
If you do the straps up, obviously it takes you a bit longer, so try and keep the straps open if you can, but essentially what you want to try and do if you can is set your transition up so it's no wider than your handlebars. It means people can set up next to you, no problem at all.
But I have got some pictures, and I took the boys with me, and they were involved with the registration of the athletes, of which there were loads. Obviously, Tough Runner, the people that put on the event, have got to deal with a few years of deferrals, not just from last year, but the year before as well. So they were at absolute capacity, and the registration was crazy, and they didn't really know how many people were going to turn up because managing those numbers from previous deferrals was crazy. I think they did an absolutely superb job of managing such a high amount of numbers. That is the first thing I want to say about Bristol Triathlon, is that for a young, and I say young both in terms of how young Tough Runner are as a business, but also the guys running it, I think they're a fantastic company. Their heart's in the right place, and I think what they did on Sunday was nothing short of brilliant. So if you were one of those people that came to the briefing, thanks so much for such a warm welcome. I really enjoyed it. It was really good to chat to some of you afterwards and on race day, and I'll come to that later on. So I entered the sprint distance race. Tough Runner were really kind to give me a spot on the triathlon for the Sunday, and I went and did the sprint. I still want to hold the Olympic as a little bit of something to do when I'm in peak form, which I still am not, but I'd raced okay. So the Sunday morning, left and went into Bristol, and just took part in the sprint distance race really. My own motive for doing it was to have a laugh, to enjoy myself and have masses of fun. So it was a continuous wave start, as it always is in Bristol with Tough Runner, where you go in, you go through the chip start and you get in the water and you're racing your own race from then really. It's not a mass start, which I think for people not used to kind of mass starts is a great way to race. And if you look at my trace on the swim here from Strava, I think a couple of things are apparent that I learned from this swim. The first thing is that my sighting skills are clearly there. The experience I've got with open water swimming meant that my sighting was pretty up together. It also tells me that my Phoenix is brilliant in terms of what I've had before with the 910 and the 920 XT, with lines going everywhere. I could see people zigzagging all over the place and have trouble with sighting, and it felt reassuring to know that I was pretty much swimming in a deadly straight line, which was great. What was interesting as well coming out the swim was is the fact that my lack of open water swimming, of which I have done one, I think, this year, your body definitely gets used to this disorientation of rotation when you're open water swimming, this kind of wobbly horizon. And I don't think I've ever felt so wobbly getting out of a swim, actually. And that's quite interesting. It's almost like you get your gyroscope inside your head gets used to it. So one good thing, sighting is good. One bad thing, definitely can't just leave it all. I can't rest on my laurels basically with open water swimming. I actually have to stop about halfway around to pull my swim hat down. I always have trouble with keeping my swim hats actually pulled down tight. So if any of you have got any advice on how to do that, that would be great. I'd really appreciate that, because I even have that trouble in the pool. So took my time in transition, got on the bike, headed out on the bike course. The bike course in Bristol is great. Closed roads, super flat, pan flat, no climbs at all whatsoever. What you will get is a bit of a headwind going out towards Avonmouth, and a little bit of a weird cross headwind on the way back for a short while before the tailwind. And then the technical turnaround in the harbour side, which I think is great. I love that bit. Loads of spectators and everything else. As I said before, my motives for doing it, my entire goal for the race was to have fun. So I made it my mission to make sure that I encouraged or chatted to at least every third person that I went past on the bike. One of the big benefits of having your names on your race numbers is that you can kind of actually chat to each other as you go past. And I had a great time. I thoroughly enjoyed the bike. Felt like I rode okay. Can't remember power, can't remember average speed. It's around about 40 minutes. It's a slightly longer bike than your usual sprint distance. It's something like 26k, and it is slightly shorter than an Olympic distance on the bike, something around just under 40k, 38k or something, or 36k on the bike. So the bike times and distances are a little bit warped from what you'd normally expect with sprint and Olympic distance races. But I thoroughly enjoyed the bike. It was great fun. And again, got into T2 and just took my time, enjoyed the experience of being in transition without having to just go hell for leather for a change. And then it was out on the run, and if I'm honest with you, I really wasn't looking forward to the run. I haven't run much in the last year or so, maybe even the last 2 years. It hasn't been a priority for me, focusing on the bike, and I am still pretty overweight. I'm around about 100 kilos at the moment, and I wasn't really looking forward to the run. I just wanted to get it out of the way so I could cross the finishing line, really. However, it felt pretty rough to begin with, and at Bristol it sort of almost always does, because you've got this immediately out of transition, you have like a corkscrew going up the hill, and it's just not very pleasant straight into a bit of it's gentle climb, but it's a climb nonetheless. But then you get out onto the trail and it's great. You've just got runners coming either side of you, and again you can kind of see your friends more likely than not to bump into your teammates and give yourself someone to chase. And also the environment's fantastic. You go under the Clifton Suspension Bridge, you're running along the River Avon. It's absolutely glorious out there. And the thing I was most pleased about with the run was I came in under 30 minutes. I kind of had this benchmark that I would try and run under 6-minute Ks, and as I started to go out, I was running like 6:20s because my glutes were hurting and everything was screaming because I hadn't run very much. And then slowly, as the kilometers ticked past, it was like 6-minute Ks, 5:50s, 5:40s, 5:30s, and snuck in just under like 29, 40 or 50 or something. Anyway, who cares? It doesn't really matter. But so all in all, it was a brilliant race. I thoroughly enjoyed it. My mission to go and have fun and enjoy it and encourage other athletes, completely for altruistic reasons, if I'm honest with you, because I enjoy doing it, and it's great to have a bit of a chat with other athletes as you're going around, was completely fulfilled. I really couldn't have wished for anything else from a race, to be honest with you. And I worked it out the other day. I've done well over 100 races in the last 24 years since I started doing triathlon, and without a doubt this was the most fun race I've ever had in my life, and that is down to a number of things. It's due to the circumstances, it's due to the location and the environment, it's due to the other athletes, and it's due to the organisation. And let's face it, all races really live and die by those things. See you later, Jenny. Take care, mate. All the
I was like looking at the site.
Video.
Yeah.
I like those.
Oh,
Good
thanks,
prep,
mate. No worries. Did you have a good race?
Yeah, my first one actually.
Oh, brilliant.
That's
First
good.
of many, I'd imagine.
Hopefully.
Yeah, good for you, dude. That's
But
wicked.
You?
Yeah, all right.
Is this your first one? Because you said you had to miss a few.
I've missed a few. I haven't done one for a couple. Yeah, I couldn't remember the last one. I think it was
Really?
Exeter a couple of years ago. Yeah, it's great fun. I loved every minute of that.
Yeah, good. Good man. Well,
And
nice
you.
one for the video.
Nice one, dude. See you later.
Thank you very much for your tips yesterday.
Oh, yes, all right. No worries. Did you have a good
It made
race?
Massive difference.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Did you have a good time?
Yeah.
It's all right out there today, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Perfect.
No, everything.
Was it your first one?
Very
one?
first.
Really? Okay.
Second ever open water swim.
Oh, brilliant. Well, you're a top man.
That's you.
I also really appreciated some friends coming to watch, not least Debbie and Tim Pocock, who have been really supportive over the last couple of years with me and Bex, and sponsored a stage last year, who were just the loveliest people on earth, and they came and cheered and actually supplied some of the video of me on this video, and also my friend Dave Smith, who also was a massive supporter last year in the Grand Tour. His initials of DS stood up very much so in the Grand Tour, as he was the Director Sportif Superior. He came out, I think, on 6 or 8 stages, bringing us bottles of water and cans of Coke and stuff like that. Oh, and I can't remember, some kind of chicken, like processed chicken thing. It was salty and loads of protein and stuff, and I really got into those, and I haven't eaten a bag of those since. But Dave was absolutely brilliant, and Dave's not very well at the moment, and he's a brilliant guy, and I love him to bits, and it was just lovely to see him on the course. He can't race at the moment, and I made a joke about being a bit heavy, feeling like I was carrying around another person, and Dave said, "Oh, you could have carried me around." And if I'm honest, Dave, I would have gladly carried you around. It would have been an absolute pleasure. You were very much in my thoughts as running around. I know that you'd have absolutely loved that race that day. So it was such an honour to have you and Jules there as well. So yeah, again, supporters, athletes, organisation, environment, weather, everything, just brilliant. And talking about brilliant, now I'm not one for like medals and race t-shirts and stuff like that. Race t-shirts are great, they're great for cleaning bikes, and I've got the medals, but unless somebody puts one around my neck when I cross the finishing line, I never put them on. I have a quick look at them when I take them out of my race bag and put them in a box out the back there. I'm not as bad as Bradley Wiggins with his Olympic medals in a Sainsbury's bag, but the race experience is what I go for, and I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. The medal's an important thing. However, I've got to say, this is a beauty. Take a look at this. So I want to extend a little bit of a thank you to the people that I race with, John and Jenny and Pat and Richard, and loads of other people that I bumped into, Annabelle, there are loads of teammates, Natalie, God, there were so many out there on the course, it made it really good fun. And then the people that came to watch, so Jules and David and Tim and Debbie Pocock, it made such a massive difference to kind of have you shouting at the sidelines, but also to all the other athletes that came to the briefing, that chatted to me after the race or in transition, or and came up and said thanks, or told me that you'd had the best race of your lives and that you're really looking forward to booking the next triathlon. To be honest with you, that is the best thing I could have possibly wished from a race. Medals, times, none of that really matters. If people are getting into triathlon, if people are getting moving and improving their mental and physical health as a result of something like that, then that's all right, isn't it? But also to the race organisers. So initially Tim was the person who got in contact to begin with, and Adam, who runs it, but also Chelsea, who was at registration and looked after Zach and Indy and got them involved in it and actually made them feel part of the team, giving out all the race numbers and chips to everybody at reception. It was just a very enjoyable and very exciting and fun experience. So if you are thinking of doing Bristol Triathlon next year, I mean, I highly recommend it. They've asked me to do the briefing again next year on the Saturday, I assume the Saturday. So if you are going to come and do the race, then do come and say hello. But I would highly recommend doing it as a brilliant first race. There aren't many races like this in the city centre, where you get to swim in the harbour side, closed roads, fantastic run, great organisation, amazing athletes. What more could you ask for? So a big thank you. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you found this because of Bristol Triathlon, then please hit the subscription button button, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below, let me know what you thought was the best thing about the race, and whether you're going to be booking to do another one, and I will see you on the next video.